welcome to This Day. It is Friday, August 30th. Are you ready for the Labor Day weekend? Have you got all your barbecue stuff ready? You're going to go into the beach, go into the park, going to have a picnic, party at your house, backyard? Let me know. I'll come. I'm always ready to eat a good meal. But if you're not going to invite me over, at least stay in here and watch the show. I invite you to enjoy our program today. Bree got to talk to guitarist and singer John Pizzarelli. He's going to be performing at the Irvine Barclay, so we're going to have that conversation that she got to have with him just a little later in the program. And then we'll go to Sports Corner with Cole Young. He's got some great stuff coming up in Sports Corner, always entertaining, so stay tuned for that as well. Right now, we want to tell you what we're doing for Labor Day, and we're not going to be here. I'm going to have the day off. Everybody here is going to have the day off, just like you guys, and they're going to be enjoying in our place some movies for you. We got Support Your Local Sheriff. That's going to be on at 9 a.m. with James Garner. That's a great movie. Then at 11 a.m., Billy Rose's Jumbo. Hope you enjoy that. And then a great classic from Huell Hauser, The Hollywood Sign. That's going to be on 5 p.m. With California's Gold. He goes and explores all the history of the Hollywood sign. So enjoy those features on Monday in lieu of course, missing This Day. We wanted to make sure you had some good entertainment out there since you wouldn't be able to watch us. Let's take a look at your temperatures for our Labor Day weekend and beyond. And we got some great ones for the next couple days. Then we really start to warm up. And I hate to break it to you folks, but Labor Day is going to be a very sunny day. Make sure you're wearing sunblock, bring a hat, and all that kind of fun stuff. It's going to be nice and warm out there. And let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset while we're at it. And we've got a great sunrise shot for you here. Beautiful one from Mark Rabinowitz. Thank you very much. Took this over in Dana Point. Sunrise this morning was 6:23. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:18. If you'd like to send us a picture like Mark did, we'd love to have it. Beautiful shot there, by the way. Again, Mark, really nice. Make sure you email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Include your name like Mark did and where you took the park picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment. Hey, no meetings today. They've taken a long weekend as well over in the meeting world. So when we come back, we'll be talking to John Pizzarelli from Irvine Barclay. Stay with us.
Did you know that the Laguna Hills Lodge was originally built as a place for relatives or friends to stay when they were visiting? In 1968, Laguna Woods' residents built the first two buildings of the lodge because they wanted a place close by for visitors to stay. Since then, the lodge has become the spare bedroom for the Laguna Woods' residents. The lodge has received the TripAdvisor Award of Excellence 8 years in a row. We invite you to stay in one of our recently remodeled garden rooms and take advantage of a special offer for Laguna Woods' residents, family, and friends.
So acclaimed artist John Pizzarelli will be performing at the Irvine Barclay Theater. Here to provide us with all of the information on that performance is John himself. John, welcome to the show.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me.
There is just a little bit of delay. So tell us, this is super exciting. What can audiences expect from the collaboration between you, Cy, the Pacific Jazz Orchestra, and the Irvine Barclay Theater?
Well, for me, it's a great chance to play these arrangements, a number of arrangements that I've done with Don Sebeski over the years, and to hear them with the band and the strings as they were originally written, and to work with Cy, which will be the first time with Cy I've ever worked with her. And then with Christopher, we've worked together before, but I have never worked with the Pacific Jazz Orchestra, and it promises to be a really fun evening of music and entertainment.
It sounds fabulous. I'm gonna try to sneak in and get a ticket and sneak in. Maybe I'll even come backstage and say
Good
hi.
idea. Great.
So how has your approach to the Great American Songbook evolved over the years?
Well, originally it was the idea of the Great American Songbook was finite. Was somewhere from the early 20s all the way to about 1964, where they used to say that the Great American Songbook ended with The Sound of Music, Rodgers and Hammerstein. But now, as in our show here at the Barclay Center, the Barclay Theater, we'll have some Beatles songs that, there's a lot more material that has become part of the Great American Songbook, even though they're, English songwriters, but they've been, taking pop songs and translating them into jazz has been something that I've done more and more since the beginning of my career. I guess with a trio, it's been about 34 years ago. So somewhere about 24 years ago, we started finding more songs written by pop artists like, Lennon and McCartney, by Paul McCartney, by Neil Young or Joni Mitchell or people like that, Paul Simon, Billy Joel, and translating them into jazz. That's been sort of an idea we've been trying to do more and more over the
I
years.
love that. So what was the inspiration behind that?
It was about trying to find people who like Beatle music but don't know a lot about jazz. So when they hear the songs they're familiar with in a style that they're not familiar with, they go, "Well, what was that?" So even if they hear "Can't Buy Me Love" as a jazz song, maybe it helps them to go, "Oh, this," now they're discovering a style of music they weren't familiar with. And for the jazz fan, and they get jazz and they just hear new material. Everybody knows the Beatles pretty much, so it sort of works out. Sort of a win-win.
So in a way, you created a brand new genre by doing that.
Well, it's worked out well for me in that I feel like that's something that I've really concentrated on. Not entire, sometimes entire records, but just little pieces of material. Like in our show, we do the Beatles song "Honey Pie," and that was on a record of all older standards, and people were so taken by the fact that it was a Beatles song sounding like an old standard. And so I've sort of really worked on moving more and more songs into the style of jazz, and I think it's brought more fans to the party, as it were.
Yeah, I would imagine it just opened up a whole new spectrum. So tell us, what was the creative process behind your album Midnight McCartney?
Well, I was very lucky. Actually, Chris Walden and I both worked on that record. I was the rhythm guitar player. I know he helped Diana Krall get all the music together that they picked. And Paul McCartney wanted to make a record of standard songs of the Great American Songbook. And they got together, myself and Diana Krall and her rhythm section. And we came out to California. And after I did that record, I got a letter from Paul about a year later from Paul. And he said it would be great if you could make a record of my post Beatles songs. So
Okay.
we'll be doing, yeah, and that's how that worked out. So I made a record of all the songs he did sort of with wings, and one of them is called "Coming Up." We're going to do with Cy in the show.
Well, that sounds like an amazing opportunity that you had and took advantage of it. I can't wait to hear
Yeah,
some of
that
that
was
music.
the letter. I still have the letter in the envelope. It just sits, and I don't do anything with it. I don't even
Oh,
look at it.
you should shadow box mount that. Put it on
Yeah,
the
and yeah, I have to work on that.
There's a blank space right behind you.
Yeah.
I'll come design for you.
Great.
So tell us how the Grammy nomination for With a Song in My Heart impact your career.
Well, I was lucky once again to work with Don Sebesky, and two of his arrangements were nominated for Grammys, and With a Song in My Heart had his arrangement of Johnny One Note. But what really was, that sort of led to me, all these records that I made led to me working with James Taylor. And I worked on a record with him called American Standard, and we all won the Grammy for that record for Best Traditional Pop Vocal. So I was a co-producer on that record, and that was my first and only Grammy. And that was it's just nice to actually finally have something that says Grammy winner as opposed to Grammy nomination. So it's nice to have,
Oh,
a Grammy
wonderful.
on the shelf.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
there's still time for more.
Yes. Oh, plenty.
You got lots of time. Open up a shelf and start stacking them up.
That's right.
What did that recognition mean to you, both personally and professionally?
Well, it just the idea that I've been able to work with, I've opened for Frank Sinatra. I worked with Rosie Clooney and Ricky Lee Jones, Natalie Cole. I've been in these bands, worked on records with Paul McCartney. It's nice. It's just nice to be, the awards are fun. I mean, I really love having my Grammy it's on the piano. But I just like the fact that I made records with all these people because I've worked on my guitar playing enough that people want me to play on their records. And with Rosemary Clooney, I got to actually sing with her too. So those kinds of things, it's part of what the career is about, and it makes it fun. And it's nice to spend time with these people and be able to make records that you can play for your children and show people, yeah, I made a record with these people. It's sort of exciting.
Well, it's an honor, but well deserved, right? You've put in the time and the effort and the energy,
Right.
and you've built your career. So what did you learn
Yeah,
about
the work is the hard work pays off, and eventually
eventually? Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's more to come, but tell us, what did you learn about your appearances both on major television shows and your Broadway debut?
The Broadway debut now is 27 years old. That was amazing. That was sort of shocking because that was totally outside of my comfort zone. I had never been on a Broadway stage, so it took a little time to get used to them. And by that time, the show was over. But I like. There's been a lot of interesting moments like that have. They're all teaching moments, those things, it's about taking in the moment.
Right.
And trying not, I've had a lot of moments where I wish I could go back and do that.
Oh, don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah. So I'm trying not to have those moments as much as I get older.
What was the Broadway show?
The Broadway show was called Dream. It was a show of all Johnny Mercer music. And I just was sort of a musical, I played the guitar with my trio, and they brought us in and out.
Oh,
And
okay.
I didn't have to dance, thank God. That was something that would have ended a lot sooner.
I'm sure you would have been great. John, let's remind the folks about the details. The show is at the Irvine Barclay Theater,
Yes.
Saturday, September 7th at 8 p.m.
Yes, and we'll have Cy Smith with us and Christopher Walden and the Pacific Jazz Orchestra. Uh, and we're both in both halves, and it's a really great evening of music, and it's a great place to play music too. I love that place. That theater is wonderful.
Okay. Well, we'll let our folks know here how to get tickets.
Great.
John, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us with the Pacific Jazz Orchestra and John Pizzarelli.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Like pizzicato.
Pizzicato.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes. Thanks for having me, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone at the Barclay Theater in Irvine.
Very much looking forward to it. Thank you for being here with us. Such a pleasure, John.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back after these messages. This is ThisDay on Village Television.
Caring for your health shouldn't be dictated by what you can afford. At MVS, we are a family-owned business that has provided quality healthcare products for seniors in their homes for over 30 years. We negotiate on your behalf with top manufacturers to deliver low prices. We provide vital resources while staying committed to making the experience of getting medical supplies you need as easy as possible by ensuring easy online shopping and free shipping. When life is difficult, we make things simple.
Hello and welcome back to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. Last weekend, we got the official start of college football Saturdays, and it was an electric start. I talked about it pretty extensively leading up to the game, but the weekend kicked off with number 10 Florida State and unranked Georgia Tech meeting to square off in Dublin, Ireland. Coming off an undefeated season, Florida State entered this game as massive favorites, and it seemed like a given that they would roll right over Georgia Tech. But one of my favorite aspects of college football is anyone can beat anyone whenever. Florida State jumped out to a quick lead, scoring on their opening drive and topping it off with a 2-point conversion on a trick play. Jamal Haynes ran for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns for Georgia Tech, while Haynes King threw for 146 yards and ran for 54 yards, and Georgia Tech found themselves up 21-14 over the Seminoles in the fourth quarter. Florida State then put on an offensive clinic, executing a 15-play touchdown drive that also included 2 fourth-down conversions, and even the score 21-21. With a little under 7 minutes left, Georgia Tech took the field and put on a 12-play drive of their own. Kicker Aiden Burr then made a 44-yard field goal as time expired, and Georgia Tech pulled off the upset, winning 24-21. It was an incredible way to start the 2024 season, and there were a few other games, but the official Week 1 began last night. Only 3 ranked teams played last night, with number 11 Missouri hosting Murray State, number 22 Kansas playing Lindenwood, bonus points if you've heard of that school, and number 12 Utah taking on Southern Utah. This afternoon at 4 p.m., number 16 Oklahoma will play Temple at home, but tomorrow is where the real action begins. I'll run through a few key games to check out, but there are a ton of other games as well. Starting off the day strong, number 14 Clemson will travel to Athens, Georgia to take on the number 1 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. This game will kick off at 9 a.m. on ABC, and you'll not want to miss it. Georgia is pretty heavily favored, but like I just said about Florida State, anybody can beat anybody whenever. Later in the day at 12:30 on ABC, we'll see the interstate matchup between University of Florida and the University of Miami. Miami enters the season as the number 19 team in the country, while Florida is currently unranked. But this should still be a close battle to the end. To close the weekend, we'll get the game I am most looking forward to. Our local number 23 ranked USC will make their Big Ten Conference debut by traveling to a neutral Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas to face the number 13 LSU Tigers. LSU is just slight favorites, and I'm very curious to see how USC will look in the post-Caleb Williams era, plus how all the former Pac-12 teams will handle themselves in their new conference. This game kicks off on Sunday at 4:30 p.m., also on ABC. Switching gears over to the NFL, I covered pretty much everything with my season preview last week, so I won't dwell too much on it. I had to mention yet another groundbreaking contract, though. I talked about the Dallas Cowboys and all of their contract turmoil with their star players last week, and since then, they've solved at least one piece of that puzzle. Cowboys star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb has ended his holdout and agreed on a 4-year, $136 million deal that makes him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. This deal includes a $38 million signing bonus, the largest ever given to a wide receiver, and $100 million guaranteed. Lamb missed all of preseason and all of training camp while waiting to secure this deal, but now instead of becoming a free agent this offseason, Lamb will remain with Dallas until at least 2028. If you're wondering why a team would pay that much for a wide receiver, here's why. CeeDee Lamb finished last season with a franchise record 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns. I'd say it's money well deserved. All right, no more football talk for today, I promise. All last week was one of the best parts of summer sports, the Little League World Series. And, yet again, it lived up to the hype with a thrilling conclusion on Sunday. The stage was set in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the championship game between the Southeast team and the Asia Pacific team. Representing the Southeast and the U.S. was the team from Lake Mary, Florida, and they were set to face Chinese Taipei for the title. Taipei scored their first run in the first inning, and the score remained 1-0 until the last possible second. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Florida got runners on first and second, and DeMarco Mises delivered by hitting in the gap in shallow left, giving Chase Anderson just enough time to sprint home and tie the game 1-1. For reference, Little League games are only 6 innings long, so this is the equivalent of tying the game in the bottom of the 9th in the MLB. The tie sent the game into extra innings, and a few close calls in the 7th inning didn't come to fruition, so into the 8th inning they went. In the 8th, Florida's Lathan Norton was placed by rule on second base to start the inning. Hunter Alexander bunted, and the throw to first went into the outfield, letting Norton cruise to the plate. The Florida players erupted in celebration as this was their first championship win in 9 tries. This weekend was jam-packed with different sports, if you couldn't tell already, and it was hard for even me to keep up with all of it. Don't worry, I did. It was just tricky. F1 was back this weekend with the Dutch Grand Prix. This is the home course for Red Bull driver and reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Verstappen has won at his home course the past 3 years in a row, but despite a valiant effort, that streak was broken. McLaren driver Lando Norris pulled off a statement victory despite a tough start. Norris started the race in pole position, meaning first overall, but before the first turn of the race, Verstappen overtook Norris and was in the lead. Norris kept on pace and passed Verstappen late in the race to bring home his 2nd career win, both coming from this season. The F1 season continues this weekend with the Italian Grand Prix, with the race starting at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. Another major sporting event began this past weekend, the U.S. Open of Tennis. 96 men and 63 women enter this historic tournament in Queens, New York, all with the aspiration of bringing home a title and a slice of the $75 million purse. There are a ton of American men and women in the tournament this year, and as of today, both the men's and women's singles are beginning their 3rd rounds. Matches will keep going until the numbers dwindle down to just 8 players in the quarterfinals, which start late Monday night. The tournament will conclude with the final matches on September 7th for the women and September 8th for the men. If I had to make any sort of prediction, I'd take American Coco Gauff to win it for the women and Carlos Alcaraz from Spain, the current best player in the world, to take home the men's singles title. There's pretty much a match or more every day from now until the finals, so tune in whenever you can and watch some of the best athletes in the planet compete for a major title. Lastly, the MLB regular season is still being played out, but the playoffs are slowly coming up on the horizon. A name you might not be familiar with made history this month. Toronto Blue Jays catcher Danny Jansen might not be a household name, but he'll definitely be a sports trivia question in the near future. Jansen was at bat for the Blue Jays when they were facing the Red Sox on June 26th. The Boston-Toronto matchup was suspended during Jansen's at-bat due to severe weather. A month later, on July 27th, Jansen was traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox. A month after that, just earlier this week on August 26th, the Red Sox-Blue Jays matchup resumed. The problem is, Jansen was supposed to start the game at bat, but he's now on the Red Sox. In fact, he was the catcher for the Red Sox to start the game. So, the Blue Jays found a pinch hitter, and Jansen became the first player in MLB history to play for both teams in the same game. Probably will be the only player in history to play for both teams during the same at-bat even. I'm not sure if this is an accomplishment, but it's a pretty cool fun fact. That was a ton of information from a lot of different sports, but there's still a lot more going on. Like I said, the MLB is slowly wrapping up the regular season and heading towards playoffs. The WNBA has been absolutely electric all season, and their playoffs begin in just about 3 weeks, plus the English Premier League, NHL preseason around the corner, and so much more. I'll be off the air next week, but come back in 2 weeks and I'll restart my NFL picks segment. Last season, I finished the year going 37-19, meaning I was just about 66% accurate. Not too bad, but aiming for somewhere around the 75% range this season. We'll see how it goes. Enjoy week 1 of NFL football while I'm away, and I'll recap it in 2 weeks. Anyway, like I said, come right back in 2 weeks for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. Enjoy your long Labor Day weekend, and as always, thanks for tuning in. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.
Go beyond better hearing with artificial intelligence. At Advanced Ear Care, we've taken regular hearing care to a new level with artificial intelligence performance. This provides smarter, clearer balance of sound. Artificial intelligence identifies background noises and reduces them so you can hear the soft-spoken speech clearly. Don't be afraid of this technology. It works automatically. Put them on and hear better all day in all situations. Hear the conversations clearly with family, friends, and caregivers. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Annette, how long has it been since we built your patio room?
A couple, 3 months, I guess.
Yeah. And so how's it working out for you?
It's just working out great, and you did it in such a timely manner, and we just love it out here.
Yeah. And when you gave us this job, I told you we'll do a nice job for you. Did we?
Absolutely, you really, really did it. We couldn't be happier.
Thanks a lot. Give us a call. We'll do a nice job for you too.
And welcome back. We got some movies to talk to you about, so let's get right to it. On Friday, today, of course, Bank of Dave is going to be our movie. It's going to be starring Joel Fry, and it's brought to us by Harvard Eye Associates. You can learn how Burnley businessman Dave Fishwick tried to open a local bank to help people in need. It's based on a true story of the self-made millionaire who fought to set up a community bank. And then on Saturday, we've got another great movie for you, and it's going to be subtitles for both of this. Is a foreign film. It's going to be in Japanese, subtitles at 2 p.m. and subtitles at 6 p.m. It's brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners. It's called Perfect Days with Koji Yakusho, and he's based on his character Hirama. He works as a toilet cleaner in Tokyo. He seems content with his simple life. He follows a structured everyday life and dedicates his free time to his passion of music and books. Hirama also has a fondness for trees and photographs them. More of his past gradually is revealed through the series of unexpected encounters. So it's a really kind of a slow burn movie, but one I think you guys will enjoy. Let's take a look at our weather as we head into this Labor Day weekend. And it's going to be nice today and tomorrow. Then we really start to warm up. And on Labor Day on Monday, it's going to be about 87. And later in the week, we're going up to 90. That's going to be our hottest day of the week on Tuesday. But enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all of the barbecues and beach time. Make sure you bring your sunblock out there and all that. Tomorrow on the program, Adapt To It's going to be here with their latest gadgets, as well as the Bocce and Social Club talking about an upcoming event they have. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that one. For right now, I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.